Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bond. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. Last week's episode, I spoke about eWomen Network, a global community where entrepreneurs come together to create $1 million business. Sandra Yancey, the founder's goal is to help 1 million women achieve $1 million in gross annual revenue. And if you want to learn a little bit about why I joined and became the executive managing director and what is going on in our community, I suggest you go back and take a listen or take a look. Speaking of eWomen Network, my guest today is somebody who joined that community in 2013. Shortly after I joined in 2019, I had the opportunity to meet her and sit down with her, listen to her, and learn from her. She's wise, she is hysterical, and she has grown an incredible publishing company, starting with the title Itty Bitty Book Publishing. I cannot wait for you to meet Miss Suzy Prudden. Suzy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here too. And not only are you here as a guest, but you're speaking at our chapter at our luncheon this month.
Yes, I am.
You know, Suzy, when we met, I shared with you earlier that I was intimidated by you because I was still getting my feet in the community, even though I'd had 35 plus years in business and I had my own accolades. I watched you and I listened to you and I thought, that's when you know you're in the right rooms. When you're intimidated by the people around you because you're not leading an organization, you're not the one standing out in front knowing it all. You're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I get to learn from all these
That's so
amazing
funny,
women.
I had the most respect for you, and I looked at you as like an icon. So it's perfect. It's perfect.
I love it. And we both share the award that we received.
Right. I didn't bring mine with me.
That's okay. It's heavy. It is. It's
Getting
heavy.
it home, I had it shipped home because I'd had a booth that week, and so I was shipping a lot of stuff home. So I included it because I don't know. That's 20 pounds.
It's beautiful. Yes, it's not only did it mean a lot to me, as I'm sure it did for you.
Yes.
But winning an award from your peers without putting your hat in the ring, that was the first time that had ever happened to me.
Me too.
And it was emotional, and it was it's the Business Matchmaker Award.
Yeah.
And you and I know from now learning about you and knowing you, are all about putting businesses together, putting people together, putting relationships together that matter. Because sometimes we have that all-knowing ability to say, you need to know them.
Yes.
And they might not see it yet, but you're like, talk.
Yeah. I just brought a couple of people into eWomen. I said, you need to join this organization. It's going to make a difference. You're going to make a difference for them, and they're going to make a difference to you. And that's the magic.
And I think no matter what organization we're part of, when you have the givers get mentality and you're thinking win-win all the time, and how do we build each other up in abundance and in that mindset?
Yes.
That's when that's where the magic
The magic is.
And not everybody knows how to do that. I love that they learn to do it, and we can model how to do it. But I think sometimes a society trains us to be in hustle culture and get ahead, and we forget to stop thinking about ourselves for a minute and what our needs might be and how can we support the needs of others.
That's the training before eWomen. It's like, who can I do business with? Who can I do business? Who can I do business? I used to laugh at myself and I'm like a shark. I'm going, okay, who's leading? Looking for the person that I can do business with. And when I started eWomen, I was in a different business too.
Oh, really?
I was coaching and doing hypnosis.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you've had itty bitty books for eons.
No, I've only had it, now 11 years.
Okay.
And then I'm a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, you are.
And
which started in New York City.
Yes.
With a dance studio.
Exercise.
Exercise.
I am the daughter of Bonnie Prudden, who's the nation's foremost exercise authority. She started the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports in the 50s.
This was your mother.
This is my mother.
Oh, so when you said daughter of, you're not talking about you learned from her as a mentor or teacher. She's your mom.
She's my mother. She's mommy.
Wow.
Ma. Yeah. And this is a great story.
Okay. Yes, let's go there.
So I started in 1965
Okay.
in my living room in the 5-flight walk-up in Greenwich Village.
Okay.
I figured people got in shape just getting to my apartment. Then I moved to the Upper West Side, and I had 2 classes a week teaching exercise. And someone called me and said, "Do you teach toddlers?" And I said, "No, but I have a toddler. My son was 2. I said, "I teach him." And she said, "Would you teach toddlers?" And of course, my attitude is yes.
Yes. Because it should always be.
It always, yes.
Yes.
Figure it out, So, and this is where my mother comes in. So I started a class. I had 6 2-year-olds in my studio, in my living room.
Okay.
Now it was a ground floor.
All right.
And I had to teach 6 2-year-olds. I called my mother the night before and I said, "Mom, what do I do?" And all she said was, "Keep them busy."
Okay.
I kept them busy. And you have to, with a 2-year-old, you have to change the exercise every 10 to 15 seconds.
Okay.
And so I was changing the exercises every 10 to 15. And I developed.
Do you have video of that?
I wish I did.
I would have loved to see
I
video
wish I
of
did.
that.
I wish I did for every beginning semester when I had 10 new 2-year-olds in the room. And the mothers are impossible. They're all talking in the other room, distracting the kids, and I have to say, "Would you please be quiet?" Mm-hmm. They couldn't be quiet. But anyway, we worked it out. But
Okay.
I could get, within 7 weeks, I could get the 2-year-olds to behave as students.
How did you do that?
I have
What's
no
the
idea.
Magic?
I have no idea. I did it.
I'm sure there's a lot of moms. I'm a grandma of a 2.5-year-old. So when you come up with that magic, will you write a book about it, please?
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I have 2 books about it.
Oh, okay.
I do. One, I don't think they're in print anymore, but I think you can still get one of them on Amazon.
Okay.
You can still get one of them, or at least eBay. So I started, and it grew. And then I told the story earlier about, I had 2 classes now. I had 10 2-year-olds. I rented a studio on Broadway. I had 10 2-year-olds and then a class for mothers and children. 2 mothers, 3 kids. That's it. And then I had 1 women's class, I think.
Okay.
I was trying to support my family on that. It was tight, very tight. And a woman in my class said, "May I bring a friend of mine to watch your class?" And I said, "Sure." I didn't know anything. She brought a reporter from the New York Times.
How old were you then?
How old was I? 24 or 25. And it was magic. I had no idea what it meant, none. And I didn't prepare. My hair wasn't washed. I wore no makeup. I had a hole in my tights. Seriously, I didn't know. And there's a picture of me in the New York Times with a hole in my tights and carrying my son because he stayed in the class. I know. It was. I had no idea. So the
We weren't talking about being on brand back then.
I knew nothing. I knew
love
nothing.
it. You were very authentic. You
I
were
was totally
in your
authentic.
element.
And I had a name. I had a very powerful name, Suzy Prudden. Prudden was a powerful name. My mother had her own television show on NBC. She was with the Today Show for 3 years. I mean, I used that name. It got me into many rooms. It was up to me to stay there.
I love that.
And that's the piece. Any Nepo baby, anybody that gets mad at a Nepo baby for being successful, bite your tongue. Because a Nepo baby may get into the role, into the room with a name, but if they're no good, they can't stay there. And then why? Right? So, but what happened, the article, 3/4 of a page, lifestyle section of the New York Times. I mean, it was this big.
Okay.
3 huge photographs.
Wow.
I had 10 students on Thursday when it came out. I had 75 the following Monday. That was the birth of my business.
Wow. Suzy, how do you prepare for 75 students in the course of 3 days?
That's it. You're like, I just did it.
The face, if you're listening, you should see this face.
It's like, oh my God. But, okay, so that's been my life. I just did it. I didn't know what it meant, other than all of a sudden I had a real business. And I had a real business. And so I rented the studio from the gentleman that I had been renting it for a couple more days, hours a week. And then I got my own studio in the same building. And then the school grew. And more media contacted me, and more media contacted me. And I became a known. And what I talk about today is it's not who you know, it's who knows you. The second interview I ever did in my life was in July of 1965. I had been in business for less than a year, but I had a name. And I didn't know anybody at ABC, but they knew me. They called me and they said, "Would you like to come in to do a radio interview with us?" Sure. I went in. A woman who came out of the studio reached for me and to say, "How do you do?" And she said, "How do you do? My name is Barbara Walters."
What?
Second interview of my life.
Wow.
Now, I didn't know who that was. I was 20 some odd. I was 23 years old. Was it 23? 22. I was 11 months pregnant. I felt 11 months pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant. I was wearing, I remember this so clearly, a pink gingham homemade dress. Mm-hmm. It was hot in New York. I did the interview, and I wish I had it.
What did you talk about?
Fitness. And
So you've always been in fitness.
I started in fitness because it's what I knew how to do.
Okay.
I ran away and married my husband when I was 19 because my mother told me I couldn't date him, so I married him.
Okay.
Then I supported him when he went back to school. Mm-hmm. And the way I could support him was teaching fitness. I had done some jobs, file clerk, teletype operator, Gal Friday. I had no education. I didn't know anything. I knew exercise.
You became a student of the life of the business you were creating, and you learned and learned and learned.
I did. And
you're a reader. We talked about that earlier, and we talked to learners are earners and readers are leaders. So were you always reading books or
No, I just
trying
made
to
it all
learn?
up.
You made it up.
I mean,
You made it up as you went.
I did. I made it up, and I was successful, and I got media, and so the ABC led to something else, which led to something else, which led to, and then I had a West Side school, I had an East Side school, I had a summer camp in East Hampton. I told my husband one year, I said, "Let's open up a summer camp in East Hampton." I have all these clients who said they'll come with their little kids.
Okay.
Well, they didn't. But I now had a summer camp in East Hampton.
Okay.
And I was invited to a cocktail party in East Hampton. And I talked to an editor from William Morrow. I didn't know anybody at William Morrow. And she knew me. And she knew my name. Told her a book idea that I wanted to write. This was 1971. She said, "Do you have an outline?" Of course. "May I pick it up on Monday when I drive back to Manhattan?" Absolutely. She drove by my house, picked it up on Monday morning. I wrote it over the weekend. She called me, "Yes, we want your book." So I said, "Okay, let me talk to my husband," because we talked about everything. Mm-hmm. And I didn't talk to him. I called the William Morris agency. They're the biggest agency in New York. I said, "Hi, this is Suzy Prudden. I just sold a book to William Morrow. I need an agent." They assigned an agent to me who negotiated the contract. The problem was I couldn't write, but my husband could. Mm. So it was my school, my ideas, my programs, and he wrote the book, and William Morrow published it in 1972. And I had a West Side studio, an East Side studio, summer camp in East Hampton. I didn't know anybody at CBS, but they knew me. And now they had this children's book in their hand, because that's what the book was for 2-year-olds. It was birth to 4, I think. Mm. But the sweet spot was 2-year-olds, because that was my sweet, and this is before Gymboree, Mommy and Me. Mm-hmm. This was in the 60s. And 70s now, 72. "Could you come down to CBS? We have a children's show. We'd like you to bring your kids and do a segment." Sure. I had that job for 1.5 years.
Wow.
And things like that happened all the time because people knew me. And that's what I teach my authors. People have to get to know you so they not only buy your book, they hire you for your business. It's a key piece.
So tell me, Suzy, to the people that are listening and watching, if they don't have a parent with a famous name, how do you put them on track to be known?
you have to get media. And the media needs you. The media needs you. It's like, okay, so we're doing this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to be presented on the podcast, and you need me to be a guest.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I try to explain that to my authors. They're like, yeah, but who am I? I said, that's the point. Who are you? Let's get you known.
Mm-hmm.
You can, I tell people this, it's like, it's about picking up the phone. It's that simple, although it's not that simple. Because you have to swallow your fear.
Eat the frog first.
Yeah, and trust, kiss the frog. It turns into a
Well,
prince.
I've heard eat the frog.
No.
The thing you don't want to do is you eat the frog in the morning, right? That's a book, actually. You eat the frog first. I think Darren Hardy said it. Anyway, keep going.
I never heard that before,
Yes.
but that's okay. So
The thing you don't want to do, eat the frog.
actually, frogs' legs are pretty good.
Okay.
Oh, we could go down that path, but let's not.
No, we only have 30 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's important. So the media needs stories. A news show on radio has 2 hours of content that they have to fill in 2 to 4 minute segments. Now, how many guests is that over time, every day, 5 days a week? 2 hours every day, 5 days a week. The producers are looking for people. When you have a book that has a story behind it that will serve the audience of the podcast, of the radio show, of the television show, of whatever, they're looking for people. So I said, pick up the phone and call. Newspapers need to fill the paper, whether it's online or it's
Still
it's
print.
still print. Yeah, that. And it's there. And they have the lifestyle section every week. They need a story in the lifestyle section. Call them up. Talk to the editor. I'm a lifestyle story. You don't say it like that, but would your readers be interested in?
What's in it for them?
What's in it for them? It's always what's in it for them.
Always.
And when you're contacting the media, you don't want to tell your life story.
No.
They don't have time and they're not interested. It's what
Sound
can you
bites.
do for me that will serve my audience?
That will keep them listening without flipping the channel
Exactly.
or watching.
It's the same thing with a book. What can you write where you have an audience? This book that you have in your hand is a wonderful story. And he is a story. And now this is our first book that we're now translating into Spanish.
Really?
And this is about a book coming out at any age. This is by a gentleman who didn't come out until he was in his 70s. And how to overcome the challenges that a gay person deals with. And so what he's done with this book, he moved to Spain 2 years ago. It's now in Spanish, and he's now doing workshops in Spain and in America.
Wow.
For the gay community.
So 13 years ago, you started a publishing company.
By accident.
How does that happen by accident?
I wish I had brought the book, but I didn't. I'll use this book as an example.
Okay.
So before that, I had been a coach, hypnotherapist, and before that, I had run a weight loss center using hypnosis to help people lose weight.
Okay.
While I was doing that, I took a workshop in Las Vegas, and the gentleman there said, Suzy, all right, the audience, write a small book. I've never written a small book. I've only written big books.
And you read big books because I saw them when you brought
yeah, but the book I'm reading when I was sitting in the lobby was 1,000 pages. I love big books, and they're dangerous though, because I don't want to put them down. So I asked my sister on the way home, write a small book, and I was in the weight loss industry. I said, why don't I write Suzy Prudden's Itty Bitty Weight Loss book? And she said, okay. And I'm driving home.
And that's just the name. You're just thinking
just
about
fell
it.
out of my head.
And
It
it
fell out of my
they
head.
said write a small book, so you had
I'm
the
in the weight
itty
loss
bitty.
industry. I know how
Okay.
to help people lose weight. All right, Suzy Prudden. Now, Suzy Prudden's been on everything since 1965.
Okay.
And so we wrote the book, and we didn't know anything. We didn't know how to do it. We didn't know anything. A terrible cover. And this is when you had to buy a lot of books. We had to buy 2,000 books. We had Suzy Prudden's Itty Bitty Weight Loss book. And I think I have 1,800 left. We didn't know what we were doing, which is a great story.
That's a good
I mean, I tell my authors, I didn't know what I was doing. Again, I just made it up. And
You could probably sell it now, Suzy.
I do.
Okay.
And I autograph it.
Good,
Now it's a collector's
good.
item.
Yes.
Now I'm charging $50 for it. No, not 25. But So I asked my sister, and didn't do anything. That was 2006. 2014, I asked, I'm still in the coaching business.
Okay.
Could you redo the cover and let's redo this book, make it smaller? So she did. And she was visiting me for Christmas, and she brought me the book, and she showed it to me, and I'm looking at this book. Didn't have my name on it.
No.
So I had an ego moment.
Oh.
I'm looking at this book. And you really want to take my name off? I don't care. Well, actually, that's $1 million business, and we don't have to write the books. That's exactly what I said. 3 days later, we were in business.
Itty Bitty Publishing.
Itty Bitty Publishing. 2 weeks later, we had our first signed author. 6 weeks later, we had our first published book. I don't know how many books I have now. It's at least 300. I have 170 bestsellers. I have three publishing companies right now. And I am so excited about what Itty Bitty can do for my authors and what my authors do for me. I have workshops now where I teach. I signed a person up this morning to do Legacy Press, and she said, she's so sweet. She said, I don't know when I'm going to write the books. I said, well, that's why I created a workshop for you.
Nice.
So 2 days, I think we do 6 a year, 2 days, a month, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 3. I get on Zoom and I write the books with them.
Wow.
That's what I'm offering everybody at Eat Women tomorrow.
The luncheon.
It's an opportunity.
So, Suzy, do you believe every entrepreneur should have a book?
Absolutely.
Why?
It gets you known. And okay, the best kept secret doesn't want to be the best kept secret. And getting on radio and television and podcasts, when you have a book, you are chosen first.
Really?
Oh, yes. When I did, this is so fun, I did 18 national tours before Zoom and before all, you know. That's 18 different times I traveled the country, 15 cities at a pop. I would go from New York to Boston to Philadelphia to Washington to Atlanta to Houston to Dallas to Pittsburgh. I mean, for 3 to 5 weeks.
Wow.
Makes you a little bit weird.
Well,
By week 5.
how can you remember what day of the week or year it is, maybe, or month you're in?
Well, today I was having a problem because I thought yesterday was Monday.
I think we all were.
But it's a very exciting experience and quite exhausting because when you get to a city, you get there at about 5 or 6 o'clock, maybe 7 o'clock at night. You go to your hotel. You'll have dinner unless you've had it on the plane when they actually serve meals. And you go to sleep. You get up at 5 the next morning. You go to the TV studio, another second TV studio, radio station. Then you go to a newspaper office. Then you go to another radio station. And that goes on
Still?
all day.
Are people still
No.
doing? No. This was
when I was
okay.
big time publishing. This is when I had my bestseller.
Okay.
And New York Times bestseller, which is another great story because.
I wish we had time for that. We're going to have to do a part 2, I think.
Okay. But getting known, if you want to really, really get your business successful, people have to know who you are.
I agree. That's why I talk about visibility. And that's why this segment today was very purposeful in having you come into town to speak, was exactly the correct strategy for June of 2026. Because I wanted to make sure that the entrepreneurs in the room and the guests listening could be planning out their 2027 with the success they've had this year. And how do you birth visibility? What's that definition? Because it's just like success. It's a deeper meaning than what most people think it is. There's this high level piece of it, but then there's this deeper, what does it mean to you? And to me, visibility is about, are the rooms talking about you when you're not even there?
Exactly. And when you walk in, do people say, oh, that's Suzy Prudden, which they do. And I didn't know really what I was doing. I told you I didn't know what I was doing. I just made it up.
What about now?
In terms of,
are you still making things up?
Always. I'm working on a whole new program. We were talking about 10xing businesses, and I couldn't figure it out. How do I 10x my business? Because it's growing, but that's a grow. And then I realized I could license Itty Bitty because it's a system.
It is a system. I watched you do it for 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, it is a system. We even have a template. And we get on, and I teach a workshop 6 times a year, teaching people how to fill in the template and then how to market not just the book, but themselves.
Oh gosh, that's so important. And it's the piece that the most people, I find, at least 80% of my clients and people that I'm speaking to every day, struggle with, because they're still. What did somebody say? D.V. Walker a couple episodes ago said, she sometimes has a bad neighborhood living between her right ear and her left ear.
Yeah,
it was funny, but it's true.
It is true.
So, Suzy, you have this great publishing company. You're getting ready to 10x your business in terms of licensing. You're doing all these great things. Did anybody ever come to you and say, you need to rebrand? Itty Bitty is no longer.
Always. People say, Itty Bitty, it's Itty Bitty. I said, no. Now I'm known as the Itty Bitty lady. It was funny.
Well, you are.
And I'm little.
You are vertically tiny.
I am tiny, and I'm getting tinier on purpose. But Itty Bitty stands out. Suzy Prudden stands out. You want to stand out. Absolutely stand out, so that when you walk into a room, people go, oh, so-and-so's here. She has a, he has a. And that's the way to do it. People say, I don't want to put my name to Itty Bitty. I said, then don't. I have Legacy Press, another company.
And that's where this one was published, this one here?
That's Little Dog Press. That's my children's company.
Oh, look at this, A Bee Like Me.
That book is about autism. It's written by a high-functioning autistic woman. The artist is a high-functioning autistic woman, and her children helped her write the book. They're both autistic.
Oh, wow.
And I learned so much reading that book, because there were things about autism I didn't know that are in this book.
I need to introduce you to a nonprofit that, anyway, we'll get back to that. But
and then this is a wonderful story.
Now I know Joya Sosnowski.
She wanted to do an Itty Bitty, and Itty Bitty is 30 pages, written in numbered sentences and paragraphs that are, it's like the outline for, what's it called? Dummies books. It's an outline. It's a cheat sheet. And so Joya wrote us 70 pages. And I said, Joya, it's too long. You have to cut it. Well, she sent us 50 pages. I said, no, we're going to move you into Legacy. Then you can write as much as you want.
Nice.
And so
that you have the option.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for your community.
And then,
because you can give them different things.
And then this book, which is probably this is a cookbook.
Oh, Sexy Nourishing Food.
That is a wonderful. This woman has 2 restaurants, and her product is exceptional. So this is what I get to do. I find, and then what? Let me find.
So, Suzy, here you are talking to entrepreneurs who are listening to you. Oh, I think I have a story in me, but I don't know that it's one that people would find it unique. And I tell everybody, you are unique.
Always.
Every story is different.
Every story is different.
Because of the individual telling it.
In Itty Bitty, we have no story. It's only expertise.
Okay, that's the difference.
Yep.
In Legacy becomes
all
the story.
Stories.
So
today I
could
talked to
do
a woman.
one on what my IP is. Well, not share it all, but I think I've got an Itty Bitty in me.
You probably do. You know, it's people have to know who you are if you really want to grow your business. You have to be you are the face of your business. Always. You have to
even if you don't think you are. A couple of my clients didn't think they were, because they grew structure in a business that was them, and now the public is calling them forward, saying, we want to know how you did this and tell us more about that. And it can be an uncomfortable zone for them. But this is a nice place to start, or anytime they author something, or they just start slowly by putting it in a blog or putting it in a newsletter.
Yes.
And before you know it, you do a newsletter every month, and now you have a book.
That would be the legacy. And then with Itty Bitty, it's okay, so take what it is that you want to teach your people and put it into 2 pages as an outline. And one of the most important things that we do, which is so cool, We don't use the words I, we, us, they, our. We only use the words you. This is your book to help people understand who you are, so that you can teach them what they need to know. This is your expertise. And it's so funny when I'm working with a client and I say, okay, that's I, that's you. Take out that's you. And the book changes.
I'm sure it does.
And all of a sudden, this is the piece that I love the best. It goes into the heart of the reader. The reader is the most important person when it comes to your book. It's your message, but the reader is receiving it. They're the ones that are going to do the work.
I love that, Suzy. So here you are, 1965 to now. You've created a legacy business. If you had a magic wand, what's the succession plan look like? What does Suzy's next iteration look like?
That's the licensing. Because now Itty Bitty is a system, legacy is a system. I mean, we have templates for all of it. And coaches have clients that need to write books.
Because they have expertise.
And they have expertise. So the coach becomes an adjunct to Itty Bitty, a licensee of Itty Bitty. They sell the system. They buy the system from me. They sell it to their clients. They become their client's publisher using the Itty Bitty system.
Wow.
And it works.
I'm
so excited about it.
I bet you are.
And then I can, and then instead of working one-on-one with my authors, I'm working one-on-one with my licensees. And instead of publishing 100 books, I'm going to say 30 books, 50 books a year, we're 10Xing 500 books. And that allows people to get their information out, allows more people to get known, allows more people to grow their businesses, be successful, make a difference, and leave a legacy.
And on that note, how do we reach out to you?
310-640-8885. I did that on a radio show one time, and I had calls while I was on the radio.
Well, you might get them when this goes live, but we will put it in the show notes as well.
It's Itty Bitty Publishing, ITTYBITTY Publishing.com. That's ittybittypublishing.com. And just request an opportunity to talk to me. If you have a book, I would love to talk to you. And if you don't have a book, call me anyway. We can probably figure one out.
Oh my gosh, I love that for you. So if you're an entrepreneur and you've been listening and watching and subscribing and sharing this with others, think about today. Think about this episode. Think about the next 6 months. What is it that you are sharing with the public? How are you making an impact? What is your USP, your unique selling proposition? How does a book being birthed from you with a space of expertise or legacy affect your business, affect your legacy, affect your succession plan? And what does that feel like personally and professionally? Close your eyes for a minute. But not if you're driving. And think about that. Think about what it would be like if you launched a book in the next 6 months. What would that do? How would that change things up for you? Maybe it needs to be part of your goal plan moving into the new year. And Suzy, thank you so much for joining us today on Be Visible with Veronica, sharing your legacy, sharing your stories.
Thank you.
Sharing that first moment where you went from 10 to 70.
I know, 75.
And we didn't even get to talk about Oprah.
No, we didn't.
That's a different story for another day.
Another story.
Thanks again. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.